Ted, it is a pleasure to be here with you today, man. Thanks for having us in.
Oh, of course.
You know, I found out about Petty Thieves probably about a year ago, and we were over in Noda. We were looking for a brewery. We looked up best brewery near me, and you came up.
Love it.
I started looking through the pictures, and I was like, how do I not know about this? So we jumped in the car and we came over, and we've been fans ever since, and you'll see us in here regularly. I mean, it is a great place,
Thank
man.
you.
So thanks for having us in.
Thank you, absolutely.
You know, can you tell me, Petty Thieves, you know, such an interesting name. Where does that name come from? How did you come up with it?
We kind of take our time and put a lot of thought into everything. So it was a kind of an evolving story behind the name. There was a lot of thinking about all the names that wouldn't work based on kind of how we wanted to position ourselves in like the brewing community. So like bigger than a neighborhood. So something that, you know, lots of people could kind of wrap their own meaning around. So we eventually settled on Petty Thieves as this, a little bit poking fun at, but definitely like a strong nod to the fact that, number one, we were home brewers and had no business being in the brewing community, right? So like outsiders, completely outsiders. And also the location we always knew was going to be in the North End, which is where we are. And that's completely fringe, right? It's close to Uptown, but it's far enough away, right? So this notion of being kind of outsiders on the fringes, and what it has kind of come to mean is there's a quote attributed to Picasso that all art is theft, as a way to kind of describe the creative process. Like when you first start off on a creative endeavor, the only thing you know to do is to look for those things that make you resonate and then just pull from those things.
So let's sample some beer, man. What are we going to start with here first?
So our first is what's becoming our year-round offering for hazy IPA. I think it was the first hazy IPA that we ever brewed. We rebrewed it with the intention of making it available year-round, and the name is perfectly tongue-in-cheek, like a lot of our names. It's basking in the glow of self-approval.
Okay.
It's like painfully self-aware, but it's both like in good fun and not serious, and at the same time like deadly serious. So this is our hazy IPA.
Right on, man. It looks beautiful. Let's try this guy.
Yeah,
cheers. Yeah, definitely fruity, kind of mango-y maybe, something like that.
Yep.
Man, that's great. Great beer. So, you know, at OpenTap, look, obviously we love great beer. It means a lot to us. We know it's really important, but we're also really interested in the brewers who produce these beers that we love. We really love to hear their stories. And I know the first time that my wife and I came into your tap room, you know, we sit down and there's so much to look at, so much to see, so much like conversation pieces everywhere. And we think, man, who did this? Like, who came up with this? Like, this is amazing. So, you know, how did you get your start into brewing? How do you become a brewer? You know,
Sure.
like what led you down that path?
I went to school for engineering because I felt like having an engineering degree, like I would always have work. I would have stability, right?
Yeah.
And after working the desk job for about 10 years, like I felt those years kind of ticking by. At the time, there were a lot of things that were changing in my life, and it was a real realization that, you know, nearly everything that I had learned and been taught up until like this moment was wrong.
Right. So it's like, you know, I want to look for something that's fulfilling.
Right.
This isn't it. This doesn't make me feel alive. I'm not energized by this.
Right.
You know, what is it? So you know you're looking for something, right? But do you know that it's brewing? Do you know it's a beer industry?
Right.
Or is there some kind of something like, I've got an idea. I've always, I feel really, was it something like that or?
Right.
Yeah.
Like we all maintain a bunch of hobbies, right?
Right,
We have,
yeah.
Different things that, we're passionate about. They don't make any money, right?
Right.
In a lot of ways, they cost us a lot of money.
It's quite the opposite. Yeah.
In the case of mountain biking, like everything is so expensive.
Yeah.
But it's something that it's a full kind of full body endeavor, right?
Right.
It's like it's immersive, right?
Yeah.
So there's always things to learn. There's always things to experiment with. So yeah, it's creative, it's technical, and that's why there's just a ton of homebrewers out there that are also engineers because it's like, oh, it's something that I get to.
That's exactly what I was thinking
Yeah.
about. It's like I don't know. I've worked with a bunch of engineers,
Yeah.
right, and building OpenTap and some other projects that we've done.
Yeah.
And it's super technical. It's super in the weeds.
Yeah.
You got to trust those
Oh, yeah.
guys a whole lot.
Oh yeah.
And look, you're engineering beer,
Right.
right? I mean, that's kind of what you're doing,
Yeah.
right? So you're looking at music. You're looking at brewing.
Right.
And so was it an easy decision to make? It was like, oh yeah, we're going to do this, or was there anything else, or it's like,
Yeah. It
or
was.
how do you once you kind of understand,
Yeah.
and you can tell me how you kind of landed on that, like where do you get some traction?
Mhm,
Like how do you go
exactly.
from like stirring pots, in the garage,
Yeah.
and having friends come over and enjoy these beers to like, okay, a business plan, and how does
Right.
this actually work, and how do I go from this great career, right? People are gonna, that's a great career.
Yep.
And how do I make this switch, right?
Oh,
how does
yeah.
that land?
Oh yeah. The way this place is invested is I took my 401k and dropped it in, which of course means you have to leave wherever you are to be able to unlock that 401k. So it's like, okay, well,
Yep.
so I was like, I planned as much as I could until it was like, okay, well, if you're going to do this thing,
We got to go.
like if you're going to unlock the funding, then like you have to quit. So, like, the very first thing I had to do was prove to myself that it could make money, right?
Yeah.
This
This is viable. I can eat.
Right.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
We can have a life here.
So I proved that to myself, and then I proved other things to myself, and like it's go time.
Yeah. All right, Ted. What do we got up next here?
So this is it's not a fest beer, but it's a fest beer adjacent. So this is our Vienna lager.
Okay.
We call it Stuck Between Stations. That's a reference for anybody who grabs it. But yeah, so super crisp, malty, really nice.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
That is delicious.
Yeah.
All right, Ted. Tell us about this final beer here.
So this beer is Vespers, and this is one of the beers that made it from kind of my home brewing world into commercial brewing. It's largely influenced by the beers that I was designing during home brewing, which in a lot of ways is a kind of a love letter to, for those of you who know Oscar Blues Old Chub, which I argue is the best tailgating beer. It's a magical fall beer, right? This is fall in a glass to me.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, that is robust.
It's nice and dark. It's not dark in a roasted way. It has all those kind of dark caramel notes. There's just a hint of smoke in there.
What really resonates to me when I'm here with you and I'm hearing your story is like, this is you. Like this whole thing is like, I mean, it's every bit of you. I can tell that you're passionate about this, that you love this, that you're in it every day, that I guess it's a job, it's a vocation, but I don't know. It feels more to me like this is a lifestyle. Like
Yeah.
I think that, making that decision to go from, being an engineer to being a brewer, man, what a great decision. What a ballsy decision, a big move.
Yeah.
But man, it's paying off. I mean,
Yeah.
and there's no stopping you. I mean,
Yeah.
it is fantastic what you've done here. So thank you for spending the time with us today. I love, love, love hearing your story. I love hearing a brewer's story.
It's good.
And the floor is yours. Where can people find out more information about Petty Thieves? Social handles, or where can we find your beer in store? You can definitely and will absolutely be able to find it at OpenTap.
There we go.
Where can people find out more information about Petty Thieves?
Yeah, so we do have a website. I'm also the IT person, so it gets updated maybe like once a year.
Yeah.
You will not find any current information on the website for that reason.
Yeah.
So we maintain primarily Instagram. Get all your news from Instagram.
Okay.
Facebook, I don't know who's on Facebook, but we are on Instagram. So check out I'm also our social media person.
Yeah.
So check out when we post them, weekly schedules.
Yep.
We have a bunch of different events regularly scheduled throughout the week. We typically always have music on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, sometimes Sunday. So lots of reasons other than the beer to come out to the brewery. We are also around town you can pretty well find us at any of the local craft beer bottle shops.
Okay.
We're breaking into more kind of craft beer tap rooms. And we are at the very beginning of breaking into grocery. So you can't find us in grocery, but you can find us other places. And if you can't, ask.
There you go. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
It's fun.
Man, these beers are good.